This is a research we are doing on autonomous mining system. Globally, the face of mining is changing. The era where we have human labor in underground or in the surface operation is phasing out. Now we are moving out the humans, replacing them with robots and autonomous systems. So the question is, how is Ghana or West Africa, how are we prepared for autonomous mining system? What strategies are we putting in place? This will be the outline of presentation. First of all, I'll give a brief background about the study, then look at the objective and relevance of the study. I'll also talk about the methodologies we adopted to achieve the objective of the study, look at some results, and how to bridge the gap that is being created with the autonomous mining system. Then we'll draw some conclusions and recommendations. Now, during yesterday's section, Dr. Tony Obin highlighted some of the key benefits that we derive from mining as a country. And over here, I've also listed some. The first one being provision of raw materials. You all bear with me that our local commerce, like those in goldsmith, the jewelries that we wear, the rings that we use, they produce them. And the raw material for producing such ornament comes from mining. Also, large-scale operations in the country employs about 1% of the total national labor force and several indirect and induced jobs. When you talk about revenue, about 2%, according to the World Bank, 2% of Ghana's GDP comes from mining, and 37% of export earnings also from mining. And yesterday, I got to know that 16% of revenue by government is from mining. So clearly, this is not a sector that we can downplay its benefit. However, it is capital intensive with high operating costs. So operators are always on the lookout for innovative and efficient strategies to improve the operation. And the sector is inherently hazardous because of the rugged nature of the operation. Take, for instance, blasting. When the blast detonates, it generates enormous vibration, and nearby communities feel the impact. And also, because of the large size of equipment used in the mine, operators are usually unable to have an overview to see all the size of the equipment. So you have a blind spot there. Now, due to the cost of operation and the safety issues raised, there is a need for us to improve the operation. And one promising area is the automation of mining operations. This is a diagram of an autonomous mine. Basically, we have taken out the human labor from the workforce and replaced them with driverless trucks and robots. And with the help of GPS and Internet of Things, or the Internet, as Julius mentioned in his presentation, these trucks are operated several kilometers from the mine site. So you have less man interface in the operation, reducing accidents in the mine and safer working environment. So what benefit do we stand to gain if we adopt autonomous mining system? First of all, according to research, about 85% of accidents in the mine is due to human error. So if we eliminate the human interface, you are reducing accident by 85%. Then also, operation of this equipment, the operator's efficiency or performance depends on his or her motivation, her mood. Maybe that day going to work, your wife or your spouse offended you in the house, and your mood during operation will certainly be impacted. So if you take such a man from the truck and you replace it with a robot, the robot doesn't have any feelings. So operation is continuous 24/7. Then, since you are reducing the variability in the system, you have improved fuel efficiency. Your productivity will increase because you are operating 24/7, unless you break down for maintenance or planned maintenance. And then certainly your tire life will be improved, and also queuing time will reduce significantly. However, it's not all rosary. there's another side to the coin, and let's look at that. It is estimated that in Australia, by 2010, 5 million jobs will be lost due to automation. And you should be aware that countries like Australia, Canada, US, Sweden, and Chile are already implementing some of these technologies. So job losses are coming. And also the skill set required are very high, and local communities, indigenous and local communities are not able to, cannot readily acquire such skills. Then also, it's not only going to be the people in the community who will be impacted, but government also will suffer. And especially low-income and middle-income countries like Ghana, we are going to lose a lot from the revenues that we generate, about 4% decrease in revenue. Then also, the local industry, businesses in the community will also suffer, because if you have reduced labor, it means that there will be less money in the community to spend. So, our objectives are, first, we want to establish the knowledge level of Ghanaian mine stakeholders on autonomous mining system. Then we assess their preparedness for adoption of these systems. Further, we will establish the possible impact of autonomous mining system. And findings from this study will provide critical information for government and mining companies as to how to put themselves in readiness to address the challenges that will come when the system is adopted. Then it will also form a basis for policy and strategy for adoption of AMS. So we conducted a survey, and the targeted population, first we considered employees of mining companies, the large-scale operations in Ghana, like Goldfields, Damai, and Takwa Operation, Kinross, Ghana Limited, Ghana Manganese, and Ghana Bauxite. And also the servicing and contracting companies in the country were also involved. And then those in academia, especially students and the teaching faculty, were also targeted. And of course, regulatory bodies, the mining regulatory bodies were also involved. And all of them had varying and educational background and professional background. So in all, 170 people participated in the survey, and we had two forms of questionnaire, one closed-ended and the other one open-ended questionnaires. And we divided the questions into three sections. The first section captures the demographics of the respondent. Then the second one being on the knowledge of autonomous mining system, and also the preparedness for adopting the system. We mainly use social media platforms for the distribution of the survey, like LinkedIn, emails, WhatsApp, and few copies were also administered at Newmont Golden Ridge Limited. And also, we reviewed the mining curricula, the only mining university in Ghana being University of Mines and Technology. We retrieved their mining curricula from the website and subjected it to qualitative and quantitative content analysis. So further, we screen the data, because certainly there will be some outliers. We screen the data based on the educational and professional background of the respondent. And using pivot chart, we summarize or obtain a summary of the closed-ended questionnaire statistics. Then we develop, we analyze the open-ended questions into teams and content analysis of the University of Mines and Technology Mining program. On the demographics, we realized that 82% of the respondents were male, aged below 30 years, with undergraduate degree. So from the first pie chart, you realize that women are underrepresented in the mining industry. And this result is similar to the findings of BAR 2018, that for every 8 miners that you take, you are likely to find 2 female mining workers. So more needs to be done to encourage our sisters into mining. Then workers at Newmont were the highest who responded to the questionnaire. This can be attributed to the fact that some of the questionnaires were administered in. Then most of the respondents were miners. Close to 50% of them were miners. And the miners here, we are talking about mining engineers, ventilation engineers, survey, drill operators, digger operators, etc. Okay, on awareness and knowledge of AMS, 88% of them said yes, they are aware of autonomous mining system, and they listed international media as the main source of information. And some of the autonomous systems that they mentioned are autonomous mining system being the highest, followed by multiple, those who are aware of both autonomous mining system and any other automation system. Then some also mentioned autonomous survey and monitoring system and autonomous processing system. Then when asked whether university courses are related to have component of autonomous mining system in their content, 71% said no. So it means our universities are, in terms of automation, our universities are not doing quite a great job. On preparedness, 97% of them said yes, autonomous systems will be adopted in the Ghanaian mine with time. And they mentioned that it will take about 10 years for us to fully implement the system. And unwillingness to accept the system, 37% said they are not in favor of autonomous mining system, while 45% said, yes, we accept, and about 18% were neither here nor there. They were between. Those who were against mentioned that unemployment, because of unemployment, they won't accept autonomous system. And those who are in favor also mentioned that when the system is adopted, it will improve the mine efficiency, like safety, operating costs will reduce, etc. Then we assess the adequacy of the responded skills in mining autonomous mining system. And about 50% of them said yes, they have the requisite skills to man autonomous system. Then when asked, those who said no, they don't have it, when asked what they will do, what alternative are they putting in place to be able to work when the system is finally implemented, 67% said they will engage in training skills. Then on institutions in Ghana for training, we realized that 45% of them said no, institutions in Ghana are not well equipped to train engineers in autonomous mining system. Then we performed a content analysis, and we realized that 60% of them, like I said earlier, said the content is not enough. On government willingness, 34% said no, government will reject autonomous mining system. 27% said maybe, no, sorry, 27% said yes, and 39%. So when you box those who said maybe and no, then you see how the people are not in favor of autonomous system. And the reason they gave unemployment. And already it's a topical issue in the country. So if you are bringing something that will not help the issue, why should we accept it? So what are the skill sets required to fully implement autonomous system? First, we will still need a core mining knowledge, like mine planning, mine design, surveying, ventilation. Those courses will still be required. But in addition to the core mining, we need information technology, like the ability to operate basic software. And also robotics and mechatronics, high-level computing programs will also be required, like machine learning, programming, and Julius did a great job and mentioned some of these for us. So when you look at the the mining engineering program. You can retrieve it from the University of Mine website. At the undergraduate level, you realize that 48% of the content is on core mining and technical knowledge, with little on thermodynamics and fluid dynamics, about 9% on mathematics and numerical analysis, and the rest shared between management and database management. At the postgraduate level, a whopping 75% is on core mining and technical knowledge, with no mention of database management, okay, with little on database management. But for numerical analysis, there's nothing being mentioned. So clearly, the system is not in a position to accept autonomous system. So what we are proposing to bridge the gap is that first, we should establish mining educational fund. Okay, currently, the Mineral Development Fund, 5% of that goes to education and training, and the 5% is low. And we are saying that the percentage should be increased, and also solely for mining education fund. So these are the stakeholders. First, we have the mining companies being a key player. Government, of course, will be there. Then equipment manufacturers and mining contractors. So all these guys will put resources together to make up the mining education fund. Then the fund will be distributed among mining and allied institutions, then government and other research institutions, with the hope that at the end of the day, we'll have experimental mines, simulation laboratories, and innovative research, and autonomous control room. So at the end of the day, you have a holistic program where we train, or where in the next 10 years, those who will be mining the autonomous systems will be well trained using the mining education fund. And if you look at the demographic data I showed, you realize that it will take 10 years for us to fully implement autonomous mining system. And most of the respondents are 30 years and below. So it means that in the next 10 years, we'll still have them in the system. Meaning, if we don't train them, then we are headed in the wrong direction. So these are some conclusions. Generally, we've realized that the respondents have knowledge of autonomous mining systems. And all of them, almost all of them, believe that, yes, with where mining is going, Ghana won't be left out, okay? Because the mines in Ghana are not owned by Ghanaians. The major mines in Ghana are not owned by Ghanaians, and they have sister mines. If the sister mines are implementing autonomous mining system, why not Ghana also? Okay, and Africa already, yesterday we were told that in Mali, they've implemented autonomous mining system for their underground operation. And autonomous excavators are also being used in DRC, in Randgold mine. So certainly Ghana will also adopt. Then 50% of them indicated willingness to accept the system. That means there is some encouragement there that, look, though we'll be unemployed, but we are ready to accept the system, provided we are trained properly. Then, of course, those who are not well prepared will resist it. Then the main concern being mentioned is unemployment. So if we can train them with the requisite skills, I think it wouldn't be a problem. And here also, opportunity is in here for the women. It's not only for the men. The women, because you don't, operating a computer is not gender-based, okay? So if the women are also well trained, then they can also benefit. So Ghanaian institutions are less equipped, like I've indicated in the slide. So for recommendation, we recommend that stakeholders should equip institutions with state-of-the-art teaching and research facilities. So you have automation and computer labs, okay, for training of the next generation of mining engineers. Then we also have, we are proposing the mining education fund, okay, so that a percentage of the annual mineral benefits will go into funding the mining education fund. Thank you.